So Hadi, I know you're coming back. You're fired up. You want to get that title back. You want to bring back something better than ever before. Let us in on your life. Let us get a little sneak peek as to what's going on a daily basis in the life of Hadi Choopan. Dave Palumbo here with an RXMuscle rant. Today's topic, Hadi Choopan. Former Mr. Olympia, now relegated to second place finisher. We talked about what happened after the show. Hadi was initially congratulating Derek, and then obviously his fact that he was so upset with losing the Olympia got the best of him. He stormed off stage, took his medal off his neck, and the rest is history, as they say. Since that episode, which I assume, was precipitated by him being very upset that he lost, I think it also had something to do with a lot of the fans and his handlers feeding, stuff into his head like if you lose this show, it's going to be because they screwed you. And I think it was too much built up inside of him. Doesn't give him the right to do what he did. It was poor sportsmanship. He was the reigning Mr. Olympia. You have to be a gracious loser in this game. Hopefully he learned his lesson. I don't know if there's going to be any sanctions taken against him. Probably there should be, just because you can't condone this. Just because he doesn't speak English doesn't mean anything, and just because it was the first time that happened, it doesn't mean anything. He's Mr. Olympia. He should know better. It doesn't matter what country you're from or what race or religion you are. At the end of the day, you have to be a good loser and a good winner. And you know what? I don't know what, like I said, is going to come of that. However, we really hadn't heard from Hadi, aside from some social media posts which were done in English, which I didn't really believe came from him anyway, probably from some of his handlers. But he actually was interviewed on his story on Instagram. I had it translated, and essentially what this little airport video said was that, he still has a great desire inside of him that's burning, and that he's going to be back next year better than ever. He's going to win back that title, and that's the heart of a champion. That's really what his message should have been right off the bat. Hey, look, you know what? I might have lost here. I don't agree with it, but the judges picked this other man. I'll be back next year better, and it'll be undeniable. And I like that. That's some guys just quit, because they think, everything's against me. He's determined to come back better than he was, and that is all we can hope for. And that's going to make a great show. It's not like Hadi's at the end of his career. He doesn't have like a major injury like Ronnie Coleman had in his back where he can't come back. It was a close show. It was only a couple point difference. He could easily come back and win it next year if Derek doesn't get better or if Derek comes in a little off. But obviously there are still some hungry other, prowling animals out there as well, and that's, going to make it hard. Brandon Curry finished fourth, and he was in the hospital the day before. So this guy can come back and win the Olympia for sure. Samson Dowda, who's third, can nail his conditioning and win the Olympia easily. We have Hunter Labrada, who's on the rise. We have Nick Walker, who wasn't even in the show because of injury, who's going to be back. And Andrew Jack has been improving at an astronomical rate over the last year, and he's going to be back and better than ever. So next year is not going to be so easy. But like I pointed out prior to this show, you just never know who's going to show up in their best shape and who's going to show up out of shape. It's impossible. It's just an impossibility to predict this ahead of time. Although we had 3 people on our RXMuscle comment section on the YouTube channel that got the top 7 exactly right, in the right order, and they'll be receiving free chicken from Carlo at thechickenpound.com. So thank you, Carlo. Getting back to Hadi. The question is, now that Hadi knows and made the mistakes that he made, number one, obviously walking off stage. Number two, possibly not being maybe the best representative of the bodybuilding world as Mr. Olympia over the last 12 months. Will we see more of Hadi? Will we see more videos from him? Whether they have to be translated or not. I mean, will Hadi put himself out there more now as a person who is in a leadership position? Even though he's not Mr. Olympia, he's still someone who's got a lot of fans out there. He's a guy who trains really hard. I mean, Dorian really wasn't around very much during the year between his Olympia victories, but you saw a lot of training articles about him in Muscle and Fitness, Flex Magazine, about his blood and guts training philosophy. And obviously, there are no real magazine articles anymore nowadays, but there are a lot of videos out there. So I wouldn't mind seeing Hadi talk about his training, talk about how he's gotten as big as he's gotten, how he's gotten that muscle density he's gotten. I want to see what he does in the gym. I'd like to see him explain his training systems, even if I have to read subtitles, because I'm a bodybuilding fan. I want to know what this guy who won the Mr. Olympia title does to look like that, what he eats, what he does on a regular basis in terms of nutritional supplements. These are things that interest the fans. And you know what? That's what Mr. Olympia should do. And maybe if he does that over the next year, people will get to know him a lot better. And that's only going to make his stock go up. And it's going to make people want to see him do even better. And he's going to get a bigger fan base from that. Because at the end of the day, if Hadi Choopan never competed again, people would forget about him in 6 months. That's just the way it works in this business. So if he wants to have a lasting impression on the bodybuilding world, where people are going to respect him and talk about him for years to come, he has to participate in the bodybuilding world. He can't just participate over in Iran, you know? He is an international figure now. He has made himself that by winning the Mr. Olympia competition and having fans from every country in this world. Whether you like him or not, it doesn't matter. You know, people respect results. And Hadi Choopan gets results because he works hard, he's tenacious, he doesn't give up, he doesn't like to lose, and that is admirable in him. Walking off stage was not so admirable, but we can excuse that at some point because he was upset. You know, like I said, I'm not the owner and the president of the organization, so it's not my job to decide what the punishment, if there should be any, that is deemed out to him. But I'll say this, I would like to learn more from Hadi Choopan about what he does on a regular basis to achieve the level of physique development that he has. And that's what the fans want too. So Hadi, I know you're coming back, you're fired up, you want to get that title back, you want to bring back something better than ever before. Let us in on your life. Let us get a little sneak peek as to what's going on a daily basis in the life of Hadi Choopan. That's what a true champion and a true role model does on a daily basis. And I know you got it in you. And I think you have to just go to that place where maybe you're not that comfortable, but the rewards that you'll get from going to that place will be infinite. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Dave Palumbo with an RX Muscle rant.